Take a look at how we garden today. Every year we buy seeds. Every year we plant. Every year we harvest. And then, every year we start over from zero. About 95% of the vegetables we eat only live for a single season. When the season ends, everything ends with it. We've gotten so used to this cycle that we assume this is just how gardening works. But here's what most people don't realize. History once worked the exact opposite way. For more than 800 years in Europe, people didn't grow food to eat for one season. They grew food to eat for many years. They planted once and harvested for decades. This isn't a myth. It's not a romantic story we made up later. These gardens were carefully documented in historical records, from medieval monasteries to the time of Charlemagne, around the year 800. Back then, farmers and monks didn't ask, "What should we grow this year?" They asked, "Which plant will feed us the longest?" And that way of thinking created a gardening system where a single planting could produce food for 20 years, sometimes even longer. So the real question is, if this system worked so well, why aren't we using it anymore? How medieval gardens actually worked. Medieval gardens were built around one simple principle. Plant as little as possible. Harvest for as long as possible. Instead of sowing seeds every season, they prioritized perennial plants. Plants that reproduce themselves, don't need to be replanted, and keep producing after each harvest. A single asparagus bed could be planted once and still produce steadily 20 to 25 years later from the same piece of ground. Plants were grown right outside the home, with leaves harvested year after year without ever starting over. To them, a garden didn't operate on seasons. It was designed as a long-term biological asset. Why this knowledge disappeared? And precisely because these gardens were built to last, they eventually became a problem. Not for the growers, but for the systems around them. A perennial garden doesn't require buying seeds every year. It doesn't rely on constant trips to the market. And it doesn't depend on anyone else to survive. A household with a stable food supply at home is a household that's hard to control. So this knowledge didn't disappear because it failed. It was pushed aside. Over time, agriculture was redirected toward short-term crops, fast harvests, and systems that force constant replanting. We moved from self-renewing systems to a loop that demands new inputs every single year. Today, almost all the vegetables we eat are built around that model. Not because it's more sustainable, but because it fits better into a system based on dependency. And now the important question isn't whether this old system ever existed. It's this: of all the forgotten knowledge, which plants are still here, still alive, and still ready to work for us today? 8 plants you plant once and harvest for years. Now, let's come back to reality. These are the plants our ancestors relied on, and they still work perfectly today. 1. Asparagus. Asparagus is one of the very few plants where medieval gardening wisdom and modern science almost perfectly agree. In the past, monks didn't plant asparagus with the goal of harvesting quickly. They planted it as a long-term investment. During the first few years, asparagus was mostly left alone. Not because they were careless, but because they understood something critical. Asparagus doesn't grow for harvest above ground. It grows for survival below it. During this time, the plant quietly builds a deep, dense root system that functions as a living energy reserve. What many modern gardeners don't realize is that every spear that emerges in spring is powered by energy stored the year before. If you harvest too early or for too long, you're not just taking spears, you're draining the plant's energy bank. Once an asparagus bed is established, care becomes extremely minimal. Medieval growers avoided disturbing the soil because cutting roots would damage the entire system. They allowed the tall, feathery foliage to grow fully after harvest, knowing that these seemingly useless stems were actually feeding the roots through photosynthesis and preparing the plant for the next year. It's a small detail, but one that determines whether an asparagus bed lasts a few years or several decades. Harvesting itself was a lesson in restraint. They cut asparagus only for a short window at the beginning of the season, then stopped completely. That discipline, knowing when to stop, is what allows a single asparagus bed to produce reliably for 15 to 30 years. Slow, durable, and deeply aligned with how medieval gardeners understood living systems. Not something to extract from quickly, but something to be respected and allowed to endure. 2. Turmeric, curcuma. Turmeric is one of those plants our ancestors grew almost entirely by instinct, and the more modern science looks at it, the more it confirms they were right. From very early on, in traditional household gardens and monastery gardens alike, turmeric was never grown from seed. People understood that turmeric does not behave like an annual crop. Instead, a small piece of rhizome was placed into the soil, and then time and the earth were allowed to do the rest. Underground, turmeric does not remain still. It quietly multiplies, expanding into new clusters of rhizomes, creating the next generation without any outside intervention. What many modern gardeners tend to overlook is that the turmeric rhizome is not just something to harvest. It is the plant's survival brain. It stores energy, controls when the plant grows and rests, and determines how it regenerates. Medieval growers understood this, which is why they never dug everything up. Their harvesting method reflected that understanding. They took only what they needed, carefully covered the soil again, and allowed the remaining rhizomes to continue growing. Because of this, a single turmeric bed never really had a final harvest. It could be harvested year after year, with no clear endpoint. For today's gardeners, turmeric still follows the same ancient rules: warm soil, good drainage, and minimal disturbance. It doesn't need constant attention or aggressive management. It needs patience. Respect its natural cycle, and it will quietly take care of itself. In return, you gain a renewable source of one of the world's most valuable culinary and medicinal plants, a root once known as the gold of the soil, still quietly multiplying beneath your feet just as it has for centuries. 3. Jerusalem artichoke, sunchoke. If there's one plant that made our ancestors stop worrying about next year's food, it's Jerusalem artichoke. This wasn't just another root crop, it was a foundational source of calories. They planted it once and let the soil do the rest. At harvest, they took the large tubers they needed, but deliberately left the smaller ones behind. Those leftovers became the next season's crop. No replanting, no resetting. As long as the soil wasn't heavily disturbed, the bed regenerated itself year after year. Not weaker, but stronger and more stable over time. To us, it's a perennial. To them, it was simply a smart system. Take enough to live and leave enough for the land to feed itself. 4. Berry bushes, blueberry, raspberry, blackberry. If you think plants that grow in bushes are weak or short-lived, berry bushes prove the opposite. In traditional gardens, berries weren't considered luxury crops. They were reliable, long-term food sources. Once established, blueberry, raspberry, and blackberry bushes can produce fruit for 10, 20, even 30 years without being replanted. They don't rely on seasonal seeding. Their root systems slowly spread underground, sending up new shoots and renewing themselves naturally. All the grower had to do was prune old canes after fruiting. For our ancestors, these were plant-it-and-leave-it crops, producing fresh fruit every summer, easy to eat fresh, dry, preserve, or store for winter. Berry bushes existed long before supermarkets, and the reason they're still here today is simple. They're true perennials, slow, resilient, and more generous with time. 5. Bananas. Bananas feel familiar, but the way they live is anything but. Biologically, bananas aren't trees at all. They're perennial herbs with a true stem underground. What looks like a trunk is actually layers of leaf sheaths. That's why bananas don't live as one plant, one life. After producing a bunch, the mother plant dies. But before that happens, it has already sent up new shoots underground. Those shoots replace the mother plant and produce the next harvest. With proper management, a banana clump can keep producing almost indefinitely. And bananas don't just give fruit. The banana flower, the blossom, is also edible, allowing 2 harvests from one system. That's why bananas were a staple food in tropical regions long before supermarkets ever existed. 6. Chayote, choo-choo. Some plants don't measure success by yield. They measure it by whether you still have space left. Chayote is one of those plants. Once established, it doesn't grow neatly upward. It spreads into a living network of vines, climbing fences, poles, trees, anything it can grab. At every node, a new fruit forms. In warm climates, a single chayote plant can live and produce for 5 to 10 years, sometimes longer without hard frost. You don't replant it every season. It returns from the same root system, stronger and wider each year. The real challenge with chayote isn't scarcity, it's abundance. One healthy plant can produce hundreds of fruits in a season, often more than one household can use. That's why in traditional gardens, chayote was tied to sharing, with neighbors, friends, anyone passing by. 6. 7. Sweet potato. Sweet potato is the kind of plant that made our ancestors forget the idea of running out of seed. It doesn't truly live for just one season. At harvest, they took the large roots they needed and left the smaller ones and vines in the soil. From those leftovers, new roots formed, creating the next cycle automatically. In warm conditions, a sweet potato bed can continue producing for 3 to 5 years, sometimes longer without frost. The vines creep across the ground, rooting wherever they touch, expanding the bed without replanting. And sweet potatoes don't just give roots. The leaves are edible too, a second food source while the roots mature underground. 8. Horseradish. Horseradish is the plant that never really leaves. All it takes is a small piece of root left in the ground, and it comes back, year after year. It's a traditional American condiment, but biologically, it's close to immortal. The absurdity of the present. Look around today. We go to the supermarket every week, buy vegetables wrapped in plastic, and pay for food that could grow for free at home. If our ancestors saw this, they probably wouldn't be angry. They'd be surprised. We have land, we have water, we have the climate. And yet, we choose dependency.